Karen O'Connor here. Now, many singers are concerned about the larynx rising as they ascend in pitch. I receive a lot of questions about how to keep it stable as we move higher in pitch so that we don't lose the depth and the warmth in our tone, and so that we can maintain a feeling of comfort and freedom in the throat. Now, oftentimes singers become overly focused on the larynx and its position inside the neck. They're constantly monitoring it and trying to manipulate it into a low position. There are two things that I want you to remember I've talked about before in previous videos. Not all singing requires a low larynx, and the larynx is not precisely in the same position for all vowels or within all parts of the range. There's a wide range of laryngeal height that's considered normal and practical and safe. But if the style in which you sing requires a low larynx, then you need to remember that the depth, warmth, or darkness that you're aiming for and that maybe you hear in the singers whom you admire should be achieved by creating authentic, open, resonating space inside the throat. It's not something that we should falsify by exerting downward pressure on the larynx using the tongue root. Imposing conscious interferences of any sort will tend to lead to discomfort, pain, or strain, as well as an immobile larynx and a vocal tone that's distorted. Rather than trying to directly manipulate the larynx's vertical position inside the neck, many singers have much better success stabilizing it into a comfortably low position when they focus on timbre and the feeling of freedom and openness instead. Focus more on vowel quality. Get a good mental image of how you want that vowel to sound, and everything within the vocal apparatus will tend to configure itself appropriately to make that desired tone. So today I'm going to give you two exercises that you can use to help coax or persuade your larynx to assume a comfortably low position as you move higher in the scale, and to stabilize itself as you move through the passaggio. Even if you sing within commercial styles in which the larynx assumes a sort of more neutral position within speech inflection range and is permitted to rise as pitch ascends and tone is encouraged to be a bit brighter, I believe that it's still a good idea to train this approach, to train it both ways. Not only will it give you options on your artist palette, but it will also help you correct an overly high larynx in which you feel as though your larynx is sort of up in your chin and everything feels really tight and constricted. It will help you find a better balance. Both of these exercises use a nice warm oo vowel sound. This is the sound of a wise old owl. Hoo hoo, hoo hoo. Not a young owl, not a baby owl. Hoo hoo, hoo hoo. When you make this oo, don't close it off here too much with the lips. Now, this is fine for speech, but in singing, we want to give the vowel a little bit more space. Get a little bit of a lift here with the zygomatic musculature, a little kind of smile up under the eyes here, a little lift of the cheeks. Hoo hoo, hoo hoo. Now, it sounds a little bit weird for speech. We're not going to speak like that, but in singing, it works very effectively. It's going to give you a much nicer vowel sound in the end and maintain a lot of that richness in the tone. So for our first exercise today, we're going to take our wise old owl and we are going to stuff him into our mad scientist contraption that's going to mess with his atoms, and he is going to be converted into a wise old dove. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a gentle, soft k in front of our oo. Coo, coo, coo. Barely tap that k consonant so that it doesn't interfere in any way with the openness and freedom and resonance of the vowel, right? So now he sounds like an old dove, not a young dove. Coo, 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 coo. Our mad scientist contraption is not a time machine. It has not sent him back in time, and he has not discovered the fountain of youth. All right, so now we're going to take our old dove and we're going to make him sing a descending scale pattern. Now, if you notice there, but my vowel altered a little bit. It modified a little bit. It moved into a little bit of an kind of sound. And all that is indicating is that I am maintaining a similar, relatively stable vocal tract length. And when I do so, that stabilizes the formants And then as the upper harmonics rise along with the fundamental frequency, the pitch that we're singing, those harmonics are then permitted to rise above that first formant. When that happens, we call that a turning over of the vowel. The harmonics then begin to move into a second formant tuning. And that is what we associate with head voice. So allow the vowel to become a little bit more uh-ish or uh-ish as you move up the scale. That's going to encourage the thyroid cartilage to tilt and stretch the vocal folds even further and move you into head voice. So the second exercise is one that I've demonstrated before in a previous video, but I didn't talk a lot about. Here we're going to slide up on a third from the root to the third in the key that you're in, and we're going to use this ooh, this nice warm ooh sound. And again, like the other exercise, we're going to allow the vowel to turn over. We're going to allow the vowel to modify. We're going to sort of increase the depth and the space inside our vocal tract. Ooh, ooh. You're going to get a little bit more of a north to south kind of roundedness with the mouth as opposed to east to west. Now, east to west is going to brighten the sound, which is fine, perfectly acceptable for commercial styles of singing, but not so much when the style in which you sing requires a low larynx as you move up into this higher range, typically more of a classical style. Keep a little bit of a lift here, though, so that it doesn't get overly dark. We don't want to completely close off that mouth space. When the vowels started sort of altering, I made that little face to just sort of indicate that. And that, again, is a good sign that I'm maintaining a stability of my vocal tract length. Now, I am not thinking consciously about manipulating the larynx and keeping it low. I am thinking about going deeper into the vowel, maintaining that warmth and depth, and allowing the vowel a little bit more space as I ascend. All right, so I have one more little piece of advice to give you before I go here, and that is to recalibrate or reset your vocal tract every time you inhale. Every time you take a breath between each key in which you play that exercise, take a little pause to reset that vocal tract, to reopen that throat. And you're going to do this with a nice deep inhale posture. And the vocal tract is going to just configure itself appropriately to make those nice warm sounds. And if you do this as you continue to move up in key, then the vocal tract has a chance to continually be reset, as opposed to having this closedness, sort of almost like the walls are kind of caving in on you. It's getting smaller and smaller in that room. You don't want that feeling that as you get higher, things are getting more and more and more closed. So reset with that nice inhale posture. When you do that, the vocal tract opens, the soft palate goes up, the pharynx dilates, the larynx descends naturally. Again, this is just sort of a multi-directional expansion of the vocal tract. Don't force it. Nice inhale, get a little bit of a lift here. Then you're going to keep resetting and you're going to retrain that vocal instrument to remain open and spacious as you move up the scale. Don't allow that closeness to start to build and increase. I hope this video has provided you with some useful training tips and exercises for stabilizing your larynx into a comfortably low position inside the neck. And note here that the operative word is comfortably. All right, please let me know if you have any questions. If you need any further guidance, you can leave your questions or comments below here or on the SingWise Facebook page in an email address to Karen@singwise.com. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to this channel and click the thumbs up button. I'd really appreciate it. Happy singing!